Peace and love, y'all. Today, I want to talk about not being afraid to start over, not being afraid to pivot, not being afraid to release and let go of as many times as you need to. And I specifically want to talk about not being afraid to let go of something, not being afraid to move on from something, even when it's something that's good. Because it's one thing to release something or move on from something when you know that it's unhealthy, it's toxic, you just clearly can see that it's no longer serving you. But there are also going to be times in life when it is time for you to start over, when it is time for you to pivot, release, and let go of something, even if it's great. And this is a crossroads that I was just recently in my own life. So I just want to do this video today to inspire anybody who's maybe at this crossroad at this moment in their lives too, because we're always going to be evolving and growing, and you can't be afraid to release something and move on from something, even if that something is great, even if it's fulfilling, even if it feels aligned with you and that it was at one time a perfect fit for you. And no matter what it is, it can be a relationship, it can be a job, it could be a career path, it can be a location, a home, a car, whatever it is. It can be something that feels good, something that is great, something that you love. But when you get that knowing within yourself that it is time for you to move on and do something else, you can't be afraid to follow that. Because anytime you're feeling deep within yourself, that intuition is letting you know it's time to move on, it's time to do something different. That means that if your spirit, if your inner guide, if your higher self is guiding you to let go of something that's good, that can only be for you to open up and be ready to receive something that's even better. So you can't be afraid to let go of the good in order to receive something that's even greater, something that's even more aligned, something that's even, you know what I'm saying, more divine than whatever it is you're feeling that is, time for you to let go of. And I feel like above all, you have to just follow your intuition. You have to follow your inner guidance, because that's your guide, and it's never going to lead you astray. Like, that inner guidance is never going to let you down. It's never going to fail you. And you also can't be afraid of what other people are going to think or say. Like, so many people get caught up and are so afraid to make radical changes, afraid to start over, release something, move on from something, because they're so concerned with what other people may think or say. It's like, when it's all said and done, it's your life. Nobody else is living your life. Nobody else has the answers for your life. Like, we're so programmed to seek validation and guidance from other people. And it's like, when it's all said and done, all of the answers that you need for your life are within you. And you have the best advice for your life. The answers are already within you, and you have to just really trust that and know that. And you just can't be scared. And it's like, it doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter how old you are. Some people get to a certain point in life and feel like I'm too old to start over. I'm too old to change my career path. I'm too old to move, out of the country or relocate. It's like, it's no such thing. It's never too late. Never too late. You're never too old to start again, to try something new. Like, we are multidimensional beings, and we're not supposed to just box ourselves into doing one thing. I was just recently at this crossroads in my life in terms of my career path as an entrepreneur. Like, I have been in the space of being a coach and mentor for like a decade, and doing work that I really love, that was so fulfilling for me, like so impactful. I know that I'm great at what I do. I know that I have changed and impacted so many lives. However, I started getting this deep knowing last year that basically it's like, this chapter is done. You've done what you needed to do with this, and it is now time for you to move on and do something else. And when I first started getting that deep knowing, I was resisting it. I was like, like, I'm not ready to move on from this. I'm not ready to let this go. I love this. Like, this is my purpose work. Like, this is work that has been so life changing, not just for the many people I have had the honor and pleasure to work with, but for me too. But I had to stop resisting that and just surrender to that inner guidance, knowing that if my spirit is telling me it's time to move on from something that is fulfilling, something that is beautiful, something that is great, that can only mean that it is time to move on to something that is going to be even greater, even more divine, even more fulfilling. And that's the thing that you have to know. And, trusting the unknown is scary. It is scary to trust that uncharted was like, oh, this is uncharted water. I ain't ever been here before. I don't like if I'm letting this go, what's next? And the way we're programmed, we want to see proof of stuff sometimes before we can believe it or before we can take a step. But like that quote says, like, you don't have to see the whole staircase to take the first step. You have to just really trust and have faith and know that that intuition, that inner guidance is never going to lead you astray. And I had to just trust and follow that for myself. And when it's all said and done, it's like that's the thing that has literally helped me make quantum leaps in my life, like not being afraid to follow the intuition, even if it feels scary. Because being scared is not the same thing as being rooted in fear. Like, scared is an emotion, and we're spiritual divine beings having a human experience, and we're supposed to have emotions. We're supposed to feel all of our emotions. So being scared is more like an emotion, where fear, that is a vibration, that is a state of being, and fear can paralyze you. So many people are paralyzed in fear to where they can't take a step forward. They can't let that job go because it's just like it's too much fear, right? They can't, something in them is telling them to sell that house, leave that relationship, move on from this city or state that you're in, and it's just like, oh my God, it's so much fear because I don't know what's going to be next. You don't want to be rooted in fear. It's okay to feel scared if you have that deep knowing within yourself that it's time to do something different. It's time for you to release something, move on from something. You have to know how to be scared and do it anyway. Like, I'm scared. Yep. It feels scary because a lot of times our intuition is guiding us to do things that our logical mind is like, that ego step in and be like, we not doing that. It feels too, it doesn't make sense a lot of time. It's just almost like, why am I getting this feeling that it's time for me to do this? And we try to rationalize our intuition, and you can't rationalize your intuition. You have to just be able to trust and follow it. And for me, when I look back on my life, it's like everything has always worked out for me anytime I was willing to follow the intuition. It's like you never hear stories of people saying, I followed my intuition and something went wrong. You actually hear the opposite, right? Where people will say things like, oh, something told me I shouldn't have did that, or something, I had a gut feeling that this was going to happen. Or, something told me not to do X, Y, Z, and I did it anyway, and then this thing happened. So normally we hear stories about people talking about how something actually went left or went wrong because they didn't follow that something told me, that gut feeling. Is like, that's the intuition, that's the divine guidance. And you have to be willing to follow that and trust that and just be fearless. It's okay to be scared, but you can't let that fear cripple you and keep you in places that you have outgrown, even if the place that you have outgrown is beautiful. It's higher levels, y'all. Like, we are on this ascension journey where it's like it's higher levels, like things get greater and greater and greater. And we're also multidimensional, and we can't be afraid to explore and experience our multidimensionality, right? So for me as an entrepreneur, it's like I can't be afraid to close one chapter so that a new chapter can open, even if I don't know what the next chapter is. And right now, I'm literally just flowing. Like, one of my mantras in life is I'm trusting, I'm flowing, and I'm knowing. I'm trusting my intuition and my inner guidance. I'm flowing. I'm in my divine flow, just going with the flow, catching all the waves. And I'm knowing. I know that everything is worked out in my favor, because why would it not be? Right? We are powerful. We are creators. And it's like, why would, I'm not going to be guided to let go of something good if it's not opening me up to receive something that's even greater. So trusting, flowing, and knowing, and like not being afraid of what other people are going to think. It's like, who cares? I look back on my life, and it's like every time I have just been willing to jump off the cliff and follow the intuition, it's like life has always just unfolded so beautifully. I think back to even like starting my journey as an entrepreneur at like, what, I think 26. And I had one of those quote unquote good jobs that people, retire from and work at for 20, 30 years. But I started getting that feeling within me like, this is not what I'm here to do. I'm here to do something else. Like, I'm a creator. I'm here to, I got to go explore my magic and my gifts. And that was a scary thing to do, but I had to do it. And I think back like, wow, like, imagine if I wouldn't have followed that. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine if I would have just stayed working the quote unquote good job. Like, that literally is like, yikes. It's like scary to think about how much I would have missed out on had I not been willing to follow the intuition. I think about the same thing when it comes to like relationships, the marriage I was in at one time, where it's just like, imagine if you wouldn't have followed the intuition that said, go, leave, this is over. Like, yikes, scary time, right? Even with me living here in Merida, Mexico, this was me 100% following my intuition. I was not somebody, and this is also a perfect example of letting go of something good to experience something even better. Like, I love the life that I was living. I was living in Decatur, Georgia. Like, my life was good, right? But when the intuition spoke clearly and said, this is where you need to be, I just followed it. And it's like, imagine if I wouldn't have came and had this experience living in this beautiful place that I live in. Like, I would have missed out on so much by not following that guidance. So you just can't be scared to pivot, to start over, to release, and to let go, even when it's something that is good. Like, it's going to constantly be times in our lives where it's like, all right, this was good, but this chapter is done. It's almost like a really good TV show. I'll use one of my favorite comfort shows as an example, like the show Insecure. Anybody who watched Insecure, it's like when it ended, you knew and felt like this show really could continue to go on. Like, we could get a few more seasons and we would still watch. However, it's like when somebody creates something like a TV show, it has to come to an end at some point. And so, even though it's a great show and it could continue on, it's like, this chapter is done. It's time to end this and move on to something else. And it's like in life, we have to be willing to do the same thing, or else we'll just stay stuck. And a lot of people let fear cripple them. And it's like, you keep looping around instead of ascending higher. You're looping because you're afraid to take that step. You're afraid to jump off the cliff. You talk yourself out of it. We're really good at doing that, talking ourselves out of following our intuition. And it's like, for me, I'm at a point in my journey where I officially retired from entrepreneurship in the way in which I have been in it. I officially retired from my life coaching and spiritual mentorship business. And I don't even have all the answers for my next chapter, but I'm trusting, flowing, and knowing. And I just know that it's great. I just know that it's beautiful. I am so clear on the vision I have for my life. And now I'm just on the journey. I'm just going with my divine flow, knowing that it's all going to work out. And it feels really good. I'm not forcing anything. I'm not putting pressure on myself. I'm not trying to, oh my God, I got to hurry up and figure out what the next thing is. I'm just allowing it to come to me. I'm just allowing it to come. And I know that it'll all click together exactly when it's supposed to. So, and it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter how many times you have started over. I evolve and grow, and my path changes and goes in different directions as I evolve and grow and ascend as a woman. Like, I'm not afraid to start over. I'm not afraid to pivot. I'm not afraid to. I have started over so many times, y'all. I have pivoted so many times, even in entrepreneurship, to where it's like, it's no rules to this. Like, you don't have to be trying to do what nobody else is doing. Like, it's your life, and you are the executive producer, the creator, and the star of your movie. And you don't need permission. It doesn't matter if nobody else even understands what you're doing. So what? Just do it. Just follow your inner guidance, follow your intuition. Even if that shit seems and sounds batshit crazy, follow it and watch how life just continues to unfold so beautifully and divinely for you. So I wanted to just come on today to share this message to anybody who maybe you on the fence. You got that deep inner knowing. You know it's time to move on. You know it's time to close that chapter, no matter what it is. Like I said, it could be a relationship, a career, a business, a location, a house, a car, whatever it is. You got that deep inner knowing where you know It's time for me to move on from this. Trust it. Trust it. And it's okay to be scared, but we can't be rooted in fear. Fear is the lowest vibrational frequency that you can be on, and we are vibrational beings. So you have to just be okay with being scared and doing it anyway. So that's it for today. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll see y'all next time.